Take the statement of this problem. Perform linear convolution. See, this is all we have to do it manually. So we are considering a maximum length of only 8 samples, but this will not be the case for real-time applications. Okay. The same problem can very well be solved directly, but to make you understand the purpose of the sectioned convolution, this topic has been introduced and we are solving only maximum of 8 sample sequence of x of n. Okay. Perform linear convolution of the input and impulse sequence. Input is, take this input, 1, -1, 2, -2, 3, -3, 4, -4. And h of n is -1, 1. You have to make use of overlap add method to solve this. Overlap add method. Try to solve this problem along with me. My humble request is don't sit idle. Okay. Hope you have taken down this input values x of n and h of n. Next. X of n has 8 samples. The very first step in linear convolution is you have to find the number of samples at the output. So x of n has 8 samples. H of n has 2 samples. Therefore, the result y of n, final output y of n, should have 9 number of samples. 8 plus 2 minus 1. It should have 9 number of samples. Make a note of it. You're doing? Next. According to this procedure, what you have to do? According to this procedure, what you have to do is you have to split the longer sequences into the size of shorter length sequence. So as you can see, since h of n has 2 samples, h of n is having only 2 samples. Now we are going to section this x of n into 4 sequences. Each sequence has 2 samples. That is also mentioned here. You are going to section this into 4 sequence, which you can name it as x1, x2, x3 and x4. You are going to split it like this. 4 numbers of 2 sample sequences, x1, x2, x3 and x4 respectively. Okay. After sectioning this, then you have to perform linear convolution and find 4 different responses. y1 of n, y2 of n, y3 and y4. And y1 can be obtained by performing linear convolution between x1 and h1, y2, x2 and h2, y3, x3 and h, y4 is x4 and h. This is what you have to do now. Okay. And how many samples will overlap with each other in the output? It is given by this formula. N2 minus 1 number of samples will always overlap with each other. What is N2? What is N2? N2 is the size of impulse response h of n. Is it not? This is what we have considered. N1 is the size of x of n. N2 is the size of h of n. So always N2 minus number of overlaps you will get. Now since in this example N2's value is 1, it is 2 minus 1. So I can say that one sample will be overlapping. One sample will be overlapping. And all these overlapped samples I have to add to get the final result y of n. That is why it is named as overlap add method. Okay, so shall we solve this problem? Form a table. Form a table. Form a table like this and try solving this problem on your own. Later on we'll check our answers. N has 8 samples are there. So sorry, y of n should have 9 number of samples, right? And then y of n value we have taken it from 0 to 8, 9 number of samples. The reason is our final output will have, see, after this y4 of n I have to write y of n. I don't have space here, so I have not written it here. y of n I have to write. Okay, and since the final output y of n is going to have 9 number of samples, please draw this and then start solving it. Okay, so n should have n, we are arranging it from 0 to 8, and we have written x of n. X of n is 1 minus 1, 2 minus 2, 3 minus 3, 4 minus 4. Also we have written h of n in the third row, which is minus 1 and 1. Next, what we have done, we have sectioned x of n into 4 numbers of 2 sample sequences, and we have represented it as x1 of n, x2 of n, x3 of n, and x4 of n. So x1 of n, I have written the first 2 samples alone. X2 of n, I have written the second 2, that is the second and the third sample, 2 comma minus 2. X3 of n, fourth and the fifth sample, 3 and minus 3. X4 of n, it is sixth and the seventh sample. This is the last sample of x of n. So we have sectioned it. After doing this section, you have to find what you have to find. We have to find y1, y2, y3, and y4. How will you find y1? y1 of n is what I have to find now. y1 of n, I know that it is x1 of n convoluted with h of n. What is x1 of n? x1 of n is 1 comma minus 1. What is h of n? h of n is minus 1 comma 1. If I perform linear convolution between these two, how can I do this? This is 1, this is minus 1, this is minus 1 and 1. Multiply this, minus 1, this is 1, this is 1, and this is minus 1. Inform me if I make any mistakes. I may definitely make mistakes. After this, you have to draw a line diagonally and get y1 of n by summing up the diagonal samples. So it is minus 1, 2, minus 1. Is it correct? Is this value of y of n, y1 of n correct? You're solving with me? You're able to view the board? Is this answer correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. After finding this, you fill the table. Write it in the table. Okay. So I'm writing it here. This is minus 1, 2, minus 1. 3 samples I have got out of the first convolution. And next, what you have to do, those who understand this, you can proceed and tell me the final answer. It's very simple, of course. Next, what you have to do, y2 of n. y2 of n is x2 of n convoluted with h of n. So x2 of n is what? 2 minus 2. h of n is what? Minus 1, 1. Sorry. Minus 1, 1. Multiply this, minus 2, 2, 2, minus 2. Is there any mistake in it? This is going to be 2 and this is going to be 4 and this is going to be minus 2. So I can write y2 of n as minus 2, 4 and minus 2. Is this correct? You're getting this for y2? What is y2, Sashi Kumar?
-2, 4, -2.
Okay, good. So this answer
y3 is -3, 6, -3.
One second. it is where you will write, you have to write the first sample of y2 at the starting point of x2. So the first sample I will be writing it here in this table, -2, 4, -2. What is y3? Tell me.
-3, 6, -3, ma'am.
-3, 6, -3. What is y4?
-4, 8, -4.
-4, 8, -4. Now after this, what you have to do, you have to take and write the final result, which is y of n. It is -1, 2. First two samples I have written it as such. Then what you have to do? What you have to
Add
do?
it. Add.
You have to add. You have an overlap here, so add these two. Likewise, you have an overlap here. Add these two. Add these two. What is the final answer now? -1, 2, -3, 4, -5, 6, -7, 8, -4.